Good morning, good evening, good day, and welcome to Africans Cough It Out Now, episode 6. My name is Piwe Mwabe. I am from South Africa. I am a storyteller, digital content creator, and writer. I'm also the founder of Bohlale Hub Africa, an online platform that amplifies the voices of Africans on the continent and mission to change the African narrative. In light of Youth Month and the 1976 Youth of South Africa, we bring you Africans Cough It Out Now, Youth Edition, where we bring the young and the old to discuss some of the issues that are impacting young Africans on the continent. We are not affiliated to any political organization. Our affiliation is with Africa and Africans. Welcome, and as you join in, please do let us know where you're streaming with us from. Drop your comments and questions down below. And if you're battling to access this stream, please head over to our YouTube channel, which is Mwabe as it appears on the screen. Today, we've got a very special guest that is going to be helping us unpack a very important topic: youth empowerment in Africa. What does it mean? What does the destiny of young Africans look like? Welcome. Mr. Solomon, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. As you can see, I'm strong, and it's exciting to be here finally. I'm very happy to meet the wonderful Piwe and all the constituents or all the viewers watching us. It's a pleasure to meet all of you and also to have this kind of discourse. I'm very happy to be here.
We're happy to have you here. Mr. Solomon, please just introduce yourself. Tell our viewers who you are, where you're from, and what do you do?
Great. So, my name is Solomon Kojo Ocansey in full. Okay, and I'm a Ghanaian, and young Ghanaian. I'm currently working as the programs and project manager at the Kokobite Institute, an institute which serves as a hub to incubate social enterprise and also create educational content as to how best Africans can be and also live as we interrogate the intelligence of the African traditional practice and knowledge. Okay, in doing so, we engage ourselves in glass upcycling, agroforestry projects. We also have educational curriculum team put together, and we have other projects like bottle plastic recycling project that's also ongoing. And so that is what I do as work. Voluntarily, I've been working as a youth worker with an organization in Ghana, currently in other parts of the world, known as the Youth Arise organization. Basically, we are into youth capacity building and also adding value to our youth and also bringing some kind of light and perception as we give them some form of direction with their day-to-day engagement so that they can become responsible young adults. I was equally a beneficiary of this particular program that we are personally I'm part of currently some years back. And out of that, I decided to be a volunteer. So I've been doing this for like 6 years now. Yes, and I've served from the local and sub-regional level and currently managing the attend. Yes. Aside that, I hold a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Ghana. Background in political science and information studies combined major. I also once served as a student leader or student activist, as you may post it. In Ghana, we called it the Student Representative Council for my institution. Yes, I was a president then during my final year for that academic year. I served as a president and I helped in championing the cause of students and the other stakeholders of the university alike. And so that is a little introduction about myself. But then above everything, I'm a proud Ghanaian, proud African, and I'm a youth.
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. You're doing amazing work. You're doing amazing work on the continent and where
Thank
you
you.
are, and I'm
Thank
happy
you.
to have young people participate because that's what we need. And this is the whole point of
Sure.
us having this platform. We need young people like yourself. And yes, in South Africa, we also call it the SRC is also a student representative council
Oh,
movement.
okay.
It's also yes, it's SRC in South Africa. Thank you so
Okay.
much for your lovely introduction. Let's just get right into it. And you are our first guest opening this Youth Month edition. No pressure, no pressure,
Hmm.
but I just wanted to put that out. Our first one. So let's just get into it. What would it mean for the African region to reimagine, realign, and recommit to Africa's youth development? So the first question I'd like to ask is, what is the situation of young Africans on the continent, Solomon? Let's talk about that.
All right. So first of all, I would say that it's quite exciting listening to all the good qualities. I mean, the good characteristics and the vibrant, flamboyant, image of the African youth out there. But notwithstanding, the other side also stand tall. Let me say, I'm very much excited to associate myself as part of the most vibrant class of people in Africa. That's the African youth today constitute 226 million in the whole continent, and that forms 20% of the African population. And African youth also stand as 1/5 of the world youth population, which is good because it also gives us some form of hope for the future, and also enlightens and makes us understand that there is some form of aspiration, or there's some form of hope. Because when this particular resources, considering ourselves being the most vibrant and the most youthful aspect of, I mean, the society, when this particular thing is harnessed well, we would find ourselves in the Africa that we've all envisaged, in the Africa that we all love. But sadly, today we have huge deficits when it comes to youth development, when it comes to youth capacity, when it comes to even youth participation in national discourse, and also when it comes to national, I mean, engagement, which is apparently a very bad for us. Notwithstanding, we know, I mean, various governments in the various states are trying their best, but I feel there is more to do, and it's such a pity and such quite under undersaid, or quite very bad, that we find ourselves in the position we find ourselves today as African youth. But notwithstanding, I believe and I have this kind of hope in African youth because of the kind of experience or the kind of engagement I've had with Africans in Ghana and also other parts of the country and other parts of the African continent. And that is but it's sad. I mean, it's nowhere to write home about, but then it will take conscious and also deliberate, I mean, intentional leadership and intentional kind of plot, critical assessment and critical plans backed by enough resources to actually see um, the African youth at where we wish. So I would say in general,
Yes, yes.
it's not good, but then we can do better.
I like what you said about how, Africa is vibrant and youthful. And that's very important. And I also like what you also said when you mentioned youth participation, we need the youth to participate. And also the intentional African governments need to be intentional, about developing young people, which leads me to my next question to you, that African governments have the power to adopt and implement these rights that will empower young people. So how can we unleash the potential of Africa's youth?
Great. So talking about this, I think we have to set certain premises clear. Now, when we talk about um, empowerment or participation, okay, participation lies within empowerment, because if you don't empower someone, how does the person participate? Okay, and empowerment should be critically assessed in three ways. Okay, African youth, first of all, must be given the opportunity to enhance their abilities. Okay, and enhancing their abilities, they should be able to make an objective and informed decision out of the endowments they've received. And in doing so, they should change those decisions they've made into realistic goals or outcomes. And that is what we call empowerment. So, empowerment is when you've given a group of people what they need in terms of abilities to do. Okay, and giving them the abilities, they should be able to make informed decisions out of these abilities. And in doing so, out of the informed decision they've been given, they should come out with some positive outcome from all this. And as such, you get them. Now, African leaders, or I mean, one of the ways to actually um, see the youth participating more or being empowered, I put this into two contexts. The first context has to do with the ability for them to get the opportunity, I mean, equal opportunity in contesting or being part of the whole process when it comes to development and empowerment. I mean, opportunity shouldn't be sidelined to certain group of people. Okay, it is high time the African leaders or African governments move away from what we call the winner takes all politics, where we have a lot of I mean, youth initiatives in the various countries. In Ghana, for instance, since the Fourth Republic, have a tall list of youth initiatives that have been brought in place. But it's as if these youth initiatives are short-lived, one, and secondly, these initiatives are tied to a particular party or political party or government regime. And that is a major problem. So because of that, we don't have equal opportunity. For example, Ghana started with the GIDA, Ghana Youth Employment and Entrepreneurship Initiative. We started with the National Youth Employment Program. We started with the GYES. We started with the GIDA. But then the point is, at what point will you have a long-lasting and also all-inclusive youth empowerment program or opportunity for everyone? Okay, so the problem has been with respect to opportunity and creating an equal access and also opportunity for all to participate in this particular I mean, youth empowerment initiatives and all. Now, the second one, which I call it, has to do with partnership. Okay, we as African youth, we need to be partnered, okay, in realizing the agenda 2063 that we are looking out for, in realizing the sustainable development goal, in realizing all the ambitions that Africans have. In fact, we are part of the continents that have the best theoretical framework when it comes to development.
Yes.
Okay, when you read the African Union Charter for the Youth, okay, the African Youth Charter, okay, I mean, it's brilliant and it's also reading all those rights and all those things. But then the problem has been the kind of partnership the young people are getting. Today, young people try things by themselves and they get a lot of sabotage from the system. The system itself is set in such a way to cripple them. I know, I mean, governments in South Africa, I can mention some of the initiatives in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Ghana. But then, you see, we've gotten to the point where empowerment has become a rhetoric, okay,
Yes.
where we put all this initiative in line. But what happened? It is either these initiatives are dead at bed, okay, or there's no political willingness to ensure that these initiatives come to bear, or even there is no enough resources to back this initiative, and at the end of the day, they are seen to be corrupted. They are seen to be misappropriated, and nothing really happens. But then it is up to the governments of the day, it's up to the African leaders to believe in the youth and know that, see, we have potentials. 6 years of working with youth, I've realized that no youth is a waste, and African youth are not lazy when given the right set of environment to actually operate. What African youth need right now is the environment to operate. We should put African youth in motion and they will surprise you with results. So basically, African youth needs equal opportunity backed by a legal framework or an institution which will make it a long-lasting agenda, not just a political regime or a government agenda, but a national agenda, African agenda. Then secondary, youth should be seen as agents of development or partners of agents of development. And this alone can help us reach the kind of African we want to see, or the continent we want to see as young people and Africans as a whole.
I love, you touched on so many important aspects. You touched on the importance of enhancing young, in order for Africans, the youth, the potential of young Africans to be unleashed. We need to enhance their abilities. We need to ensure that they have access to equal opportunity, inclusive opportunities. We cannot be sidelined. We cannot. You mentioned something very important, that they have these, Africa has these amazing policies and framework. Now the issue is that it's also associated to political parties, and
Yeah,
opportunities for young people should not equate to certain political parties. It should,
exactly.
access should be to every young people. And you also spoke about the important partnership. Partnership, we take
Yeah,
for granted partnership and collaboration. Young people cannot
exactly.
do anything. They can start these movements, but they need backing, they need collaboration, they need the
Exactly.
funding, they need the
Exactly.
resources. Yes,
Exactly.
it's not,
Exactly.
this should be um a
Exactly.
collective agenda. And you also mentioned the whole point of we need long lasting agenda. You don't, when you're
Exactly.
dealing with young people, because Africa is a growing population, we need an agenda that is long lasting. Not I understand the initiatives that are in place, that we have there's a 1 million initiative by the African Union for young people.
Yeah.
it's 1 million, but it's for 2021. And when you
Yeah.
read the statistics, the projections that are being made, we
Yeah.
are growing. So the long lasting agendas need to be in place,
Agenda.
because we need to
Exactly.
understand that every year our population is growing. So there's so much that needs to be done for young people to unleash their potential. And it's a collaborative effort. It's not,
Exactly.
we cannot do this by ourselves. So
Exactly.
I really love the point you made. And it's just, highlights the whole point of, we need to strive to build strategic partnerships and
Exactly.
make more young voices heard. I
Exactly.
also want to know, the third question I have for you is, what can be done for young people to contribute meaningfully to socio-economic and political development?
Okay. So first of all, I think it is all in line with the earlier submission. But then
Yes,
education
yes,
is
true.
key. Education is
Yes.
key. Education is key. Young people should be empowered through education. Okay. Um, uh, the Kofi Annan said something that young people should be at the forefront of development. And you see, being a forefront here, you need to be educated. You really need to widen your knowledge gap. But however, the kind of orientation we give to our young people in Africa when it comes to education should be revised. Education shouldn't be an end in itself, but a means to an end. Okay, education that are subjective to our continent, education that makes sense to what is happening in our environment. Okay, we should make sure that we adhere to the various tenants that our scholars are bringing out, our researchers are bringing out, and ensure that these tenants are seen in the daily lives of the people. Okay. Secondly, we should look at creating some form of employment. Today, the unemployment rate across Africa is very sad. It's very, very sad, and no country no African country is out. South Africa leading with 29% plus, which is very sad. Ghana, my country, leading with 4.5%, which is very sad. In fact, we really need to put our systems and also revisit initiatives that are not working and revise them to suit the current context of our young people when it comes to employment. So initiatives that will cushion or serve as a bedrock for young people to start their own business should be allowed. Talking about employment and creating initiatives and all starting business by young people, I think African leaders should also visit taxation. Okay, today taxation has really crippled a lot of ingenuity among young people. It has really crippled the kind of enterprising nature young people, because young people today want to start something. What happened is that because of the environment they live in, they get crippled, and because of that, they can't really bring a lot from them. So government should, various governments should look at how best they would create equal access to employment for young people. And doing so, I believe this will enhance them to come out fully to participate in our social, because today, Maslow's theory of needs will let you understand that if young people don't have, or people don't have their physical needs, they don't get their other needs. So structure should be put in place, as in the physical needs of young people security should be enhanced. Government should put schemes such as affordable. Today, rent young people can't even, afford rent, which is very
Yes.
sad.
Yes.
All over the continent, it's very sad. And if a young person can't get a peaceful place to sleep at a reasonable rate, how can the young person come out with the full kind of, initiatives and whatever he has in him out? So government should intervene in some of these little things, and as such, young people will find their place and their worth in the right places in the continent, and contribute meaningfully and significantly to achieving whatever you want to see us doing.
Sure. You mentioned so many important points, education also being the key, and you touched on the unemployment crisis, being something that's very that is impacting most young African continent. And you also touched on the whole taxation and how young people are battling to even pay their rent. And that's something, I'm really touched by that. And my following question, there are young people who went to school, like, are graduates like yourself, and have never opportunity to even enter the workplace. They've never had an opportunity to work. You find that they've graduated, but this year some of them are turning 30 or 35, but they've never even had the opportunity to enter the work environment. What has entered their the work environment is their CVs, which, it's just a CV.
Yeah.
What word of encouragement can you share for the young unemployed people? Some of them are in despair. Now they fall under the category of discouraged job seekers. What of encouragement do you have for them?
First of all, I would say that young people should take their destiny into their own hands, looking at where the continent is going and what is happening. That's the first thing I would say. We should own our life, okay, and master our life. Okay, young people shouldn't wait for opportunity to be presented onto them. They can start at wherever they are. They can start from their communities by serving as agents of social changes. And some of these bring some form of experiences. And in doing so, I know young people who are doing well, and through that, they are making a living out of that. Now, personally, from what I said and what I've encountered for some time, I've realized that there is a huge capacity gap even among the graduates. In Ghana, for example, because that is where I can relate to, there's a huge personal development capacity gap, which is actually a problem. Okay, among people. I mean, when someone say there is no job, I understand, but then there are other jobs that we don't have the real human resources to man them, because most of the time when you assess these people for this role, realize that they haven't built their niche to that level to actually undertake certain things. And it starts from school. Students should own up and take responsibility in building their personal capacity. They should take outside courses in building their capacity. They should volunteer. You see, there's one thing that we tend to forget as young people. Okay, today we all cry and we're expecting government to actually undertake its responsibility. Of course, there's some form of social contract between us, but the truth of the matter is that no country, let me put this, no state has developed and has gotten to the state of development without the involvement of young people voluntarily. No, young people should be committed to voluntary service, and that is what the world and the continent is crying for. Selfless young people, committed and voluntary people who would undertake certain course of development, and through that, that is how we can realize some of these things. Okay, but then hope is still not lost. Young people should come out fully and start. And another way young people can also unleash their potentials and also be successful and also get to wherever they want to get is through mentorship. Today most young people lack the sense of mentorship. The agency of mentorship in young people is very, very minimal. Young people should look up to people. They should learn from the best in the society. They're out there. They should find them and learn from them. And in doing so, they will find themselves not making the mistakes our elders have made, learning from their mistakes, and that is the way we can be wise. A certain philosopher said yesterday, I was a certain philosopher said yesterday I was he said yesterday I was wise. He said yesterday I was okay, I was good, and I wanted to change the world. But today I'm wise. I want to change myself. So young people should focus on themselves. Building themselves by taking certain responsibilities in their community, in their schools, wherever they find themselves, even at the workplace, unpaid responsibility before they move out there. And through that, we will get to, I mean, we go to our providential destination as young people. So it's very imperative that we take our destiny into our own in our own life. And in doing so, you know, I have this particular advice for young people. Young people should be very careful of what Dr. Kasala said, the 5 P's of life. The first one has to do with property. In doing so, young people should be very conscious that they don't become a victim of property. The first P. The second P is power. Young people shouldn't be victims of power. The third P, prestige. Young people shouldn't be victims of prestige. The third P, popularity. Young people shouldn't find themselves being a victim of popularity. And the last P, pomposity. And if we can refrain from all these things and learn from these, we will be able to take up meaningful roles. We will be able to, get Africa and the continent to wherever it's supposed to be. Okay, it's sad to note that the kind of leadership we have today were once like us and they understood us, and in doing so, today we are so disappointed in them that the same people that cried out and they were wailing and they chanted and they were part of the uprising in South Africa, they were part of the Kumipreku in Ghana, they were part of whatever happened in Nigeria, in Rwanda and other parts of the continent, are the same people disappointing us today. So we should be very mindful of these 5 P's, because this 5 P's has been the reason why most of them are reinventing their role. And it's like the leadership of the continent has become cyclical. We just go around and come back to wherever we are. If we are very determined and we are also conscious and intentional about whatever we do, we would get there.
Oh, amazing. Young people should take their destinies into their own hands. I hope that was clear to them. We're tired of waiting for our governments to give us the access to the opportunities that we need. Sometimes it's starting where you are. It I know it just begins with starting where you are, and take your destiny into your own hands. And so I know it's not easy for young people. I really understand what unemployment can do. It's not easy enacting, implementing something, especially when you've got a family to feed or work is empty
Yeah.
itself. So it's
Yeah.
really it's not easy. I understand the struggles, I understand the cries, the fears, and the anxiety that many young people have. But sometimes it just takes you making a decision as a young person to say,
Yeah.
let me start where I am. Let me take
Mm,
my destiny into my own hands and start where I am
exactly.
and see where it can take me. My second last question to you is what do you want to cough out to African leaders today?
Today, we, as I started saying, we find ourselves in a position where the same people who cried some years back are repeating the same thing they cried about. Okay, it's sad. Um, I mean, African leaders should come to the realization that the continent has a lot of things to look out for. And today, the world is looking up onto us. It's obvious. I mean, everyone is moving to Africa because Africa is the next big thing. Okay, leaders should realize that, and they should be very intentional about their leaders. They should be conscious about that because today, whatever we do, there are three things that will judge us. Okay, as people or as leaders, if nothing at all, or if no one charges you, your conscience will judge you. Leaders, African leaders should know that today, whatever they do, their conscience will judge them. Posterity is looking up to them, and posterity will judge them. Okay, and if nothing at all, God, if you believe in God, God will judge you. So they should be very, very mindful and put the right things in place. You should be selfless and ensure security in our continent because that is the next big thing. They should look inward. They shouldn't look outward in terms of, I mean, geographically. They should look at what will help us as a continent and implement them. They shouldn't be chasing their parochial and self-aggrandizing interest because that is what has ended here as us here. But if we can change the way we think, if we can be conscious about our development and put, I mean, square pegs in square holes, but not putting square pegs in round holes, we'll get to the future we want to see. I've been saying the future we want to see because there's a future for Africa and there's a future for Africans to realize there's a heaven waiting for us somewhere. But it will take us, it will take our leadership, it will take those following, and in doing so, we should all come together in realizing it.
Oh my goodness, I love what you said. Africa is next big thing. I want that to sink in to African leaders. Africa is the next big thing. I just love that. It just sums up everything. And we come to the end of our discussion. And before we come to the end, since you're the opening guest for our Youth Month edition, I'd like you to declare the Youth Month to be launched.
All right, thank you very much for this, Anna. I'm very grateful, and I mean this is an undue one, but then I who am I who am I to do this? So, formally on behalf of all African youth, on behalf of individual Africans, on behalf of the collective Africans, on behalf of the continent we find ourselves, I, Mr. Solomon Kojo Ocansey, a proud African, formally declare and launch our youth edition of Africans Call It Now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Solomon. Africa is home. Africa is not a
Africa, sure,
playground.
sure,
Africa is home. Africa is not a playground. We need
exactly,
to reimagine and transform the development of our youth
exactly,
because our youth, our solutions to the acceleration and the growth of Africa is in the hands of young people. So
exactly.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Solomon.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much
so
for your
much.
time.
Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
opportunity.
Thank you for your
I'm
valuable
grateful.
insight. We are grateful to have you. Thank you so much for your time, your valuable
I'm very
insight.
grateful to also have you.
I know anybody who's going to be watching this will be very inspired, and I thank you so much for your time.
Mm.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Continue to do more of it. please, we need more of you. We need more young people like yourself. We need to be raising the Solomons of this generation to speak
Exactly.
on behalf of young people, young people on the African continent. We need more of you.
Yeah.
So we thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Phil.
much,
Thank
and
you so
enjoy
much
your
for the
day.
work you are doing and the opportunity. Thank you. Enjoy yours also. And
Thank you.
thanks to all the viewers and those watching. I'm grateful.
Thank you, Midase.
Wow. Yenia. Yenia.
I don't know
You
the
know.
rest, but Midase, thank
Yenia. All right. Bye
you.
bye.
Enjoy your day.
Enjoy yours also.
Bye.